When somebody said to me there could be a problem with this with our health, I said, oh, don't be ridiculous. If there was a problem, I'd know about it. Well, I was wrong.
She was the founding director of one of the biggest cancer research institutes of the U.S., Deborah Davis. During a public speech at the University of Pittsburgh in 2011, she basically said that every dispositive connected to a wireless network could provocate cancer. And it may be true.
Cell phones and cancer, including this. If they're so safe, why do manufacturers recommend holding them more than a half inch away from your head while you talk?
Cell phones do seem to have some mysterious effect on the brain.
Study shows that using your cell phone in certain areas can increase your exposure to radiation by 10,000 times.
Our cell phones constantly give off low levels of microwave radiation.
Cell phones and cancer.
Cell phones and cancer
can damage our DNA.
Even though technology has advanced a lot, to this day there is a lack of choice of tech devices and their features, which almost always forces us to buy the latest model on the market. This way, we're no longer buying what we want. Instead, we choose what they want. These days, the smartphone has become the most widely used device in the entire world. On average, people spend 4 to 6 hours a day in front of the screens. Some use it for work, others for school, and others for entertainment. But do you really know its true cost? Beneath the surface of convenience and constant connection, there's a world of invisible energy that you can't really see or hear. But what if these waves are playing a bigger role in your health than you've been told? Your smartphone, it's an emitter of radiofrequency. They are just a tiny portion of the vast electromagnetic spectrum, the same one that gives us light or X-rays. The key here is non-ionizing radiation, meaning it's theoretically not powerful enough to break the chemical bonds in your DNA, but this is just theoretically. For decades, we've used them for everything from radio to television. Then, the cell phone arrived, and the explosion was unstoppable. From the primitive 1G networks of the 80s, with frequencies around 800 megahertz, we've moved to today's 4G and 5G, which can reach even 71 gigahertz. Low ones that cover great distances, and high ones that transmit data at dizzying speeds, but over short stretches. And in the middle of all this, we find our infamous 1.8 gigahertz. Remember that well. The genesis of your smartphone is a story of geniuses and controversy. It began with the insights of James Clerk Maxwell, who theorized these waves, and Heinrich Hertz, who proved them in the lab. But the true revolution is thanks to two legendary figures, Nikola Tesla and Guglielmo Marconi. Tesla, a misunderstood visionary, laid the theoretical and practical foundation for wireless transmission. Marconi, the brilliant businessman, managed to turn those ideas into a commercial product. The first brick of the mobile phone, however, was laid in 1973 by Martin Cooper, an engineer for Motorola. That first call, made with a gigantic device, traveled on frequencies of about 800 megahertz. A rudimentary beginning, but one that opened the doors to a future no one could have predicted. And so, we arrive at the smartphone era. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the concept of the phone was evolving. And here, our crucial 1.8 gigahertz becomes a protagonist. While the first smartphones used analog networks, models like the Nokia 6650, launched in 2002, adopted the GSM 1800 standard, operating on this specific frequency. This marked a turning point, laying the groundwork for the modern smartphone. Today, 4G and 5G networks are incredibly complex beasts, using a myriad of frequencies, all working together to ensure you're always connected, always reachable. What happens when these invisible waves from a smartphone collide with your cells? One of the numerous studies that I personally analyzed was published by Taylor and Francis. In other words, one of the biggest publisher and conference company of the United Kingdom. The results are unsettling. Exposure to a carrier frequency of 1.8 gigahertz, the same one many smartphones use, induced the formation of reactive oxygen species in human cells. What are ROS? They are unstable aggressive molecules. In small doses, they are cellular messengers. But at high concentrations, they damage membranes, vital proteins, and even your DNA. The study found a significant increase in ROS concentration after just 15 minutes of exposure. It even hinted at a phenomenon called hormesis, where small doses might have a beneficial effect, but longer or more intense exposures prove harmful. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a potential biological mechanism through which your smartphone could be attacking your cells. And as Albert Einstein said, the world is not dangerous of those who do harm, but because of those who look at it without doing anything. While science debates in labs, thousands of people are experiencing the direct effects of this exposure firsthand. We're talking about electromagnetic hypersensitivity and all the symptoms that comes with it, as sleep disturbances, muscle pain, and even nausea are also common. The article itself suggests that EMFs can cause biological effects at the cellular level, even at low intensities. And yet, the World Health Organization, in its official statement, adopts a disarmingly cautious stance. It admits that the symptoms are real and distressing, but denies the existence of consistent scientific evidence linking them causally to EMF exposure. They even coined a new term, idiopathic environmental intolerance, attributed to electromagnetic fields. Idiopathic means the cause is unknown, a way to acknowledge suffering without admitting responsibility. But how long will it be before science acknowledges what many people already feel? In 2011, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, an arm of the World Health Organization, classified radiofrequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic to humans. A 2021 European Parliament report reinforced this classification, stating that while human evidence is limited, there is sufficient evidence of carcinogenicity in animal studies. It also recommended reducing exposure. The official position is clear. The risks are not excluded, but they are not definitively proven yet. From Maxwell's theories to Hertz's experiments, Tesla's groundbreaking wireless innovations, Marconi's practical radio, and Martin Cooper's invention of the mobile phone. A chain of human ingenuity, driven by the desire to connect. Many experts advocate for the precautionary principles. This means taking reasonable steps to reduce potential risks. So, what can you do in your daily life to prevent every form of sickness? Use speakerphone or wired headphones during calls to keep the phone away from your head. Don't keep the phone in contact with your body when not in active use. Limit long calls and try to make them in areas with a strong signal, as the phone emits more radiation when struggling to connect. Download content offline instead of constantly streaming data. Reduce screen time, especially before bed. These aren't commands, but choices. Choices that allow you to take back some control over your health. The smartphone is an extraordinary invention that has revolutionized the world. But the science on its long-term health effects is a complex, evolving field. The evidence of biological interactions at the cellular level and the classifications by bodies like the IARC compel us to stay informed and critically evaluate our relationship with this powerful technology. At this point, a question comes to mind. If they can harm us with these frequencies, does that mean that they can even control us with them?